Good afternoon and happy 4th of July. My name is Zuri. You have once again found Talk Yarny to me. I'm going to be talking yarny with you for a few minutes. It is the 4th of July for me. When you see this, it probably will not be, but that's okay. The sun is going down. I'm trying to get this video done before my neighbors start shooting off their fireworks because I have a few neighbors that love to do fireworks. And luckily my next door neighbors who usually do them out in the cul-de-sac right outside looks like they're not here today, but there's at least one Thanksgiving party, not Thanksgiving, 4th of July party like right around the corner. My neighbors like a few houses down, they usually do fireworks. So either way, I'm trying to get this done before it gets dark and they want to start shooting them out. So I'm so excited because I have like 2 new projects to show you guys. And I got a lot of progress on the projects you're seeing. As you guys know, in my last video, I finished a couple of big projects, yellow cardigan and my big heart blanket, which is up on my bed right now, being lovely. And my cardigan actually wore yesterday for a bit. I had originally said it was like a little too chunky to, you can tell it's hot. Oh my God. So this is probably the least clothes you've ever seen me in. It's a little bit chunky for summer wear where it's like supposed to be kind of a summer cardigan, but I wore it yesterday and I even wore it like when I went out to walk the dogs and like in the evening right around this time. It's still kind of hot, but you know, starting to cool down, and it was fine. So my initial assessment was a little bit off, but I have 2 new projects to show you and 2 projects that you've seen. So let's get started. We're going to start with the projects that you've seen. First of all, as you know, I did finish half of this sock and this sock pair. And I had started the second pair when last we spoke, and we have made a lot of progress. I don't remember when I last talked to you, like a week ago maybe. So this is about a week's worth of work. So I am all the way through the leg, through the heel flap, and through the heel turn. So I'm ready to start the gusset decreases. It's been good. So this is like my 3rd time making the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern. And I got all the way through to the gusset without having to refer to the tutorial. I did have to remind myself just a little bit on the gusset because you have to like knit a certain amount and then do like some short rows. And this gave me so much trouble, and it gives me trouble every time, and it's for the same reason, and I never remember. But I started working this, and I'm off. Like you should, by the time you do, like it's 2 row repeats. So you do some short rows kind of on both the front wrong and right side, and then you do some short rows and some decreases, and it pulls it in like this to make your heel. And by the time you do the 2nd row, you should always have like the same number of unworked stitches on both sides, and every time I end up off. And the same thing happened when I made this one. I remember being at the airport, like redoing it like 3 or 4 times as I was waiting for my plane to go to San Diego. And so I did it. I kept redoing it. I kept rerunning the video. Like I even like froze it and like zoomed in and like counted her stitches, and mine were off. And I was like trying to figure it out. And I rewound it one more time, and I was like watching, and I figured out what it was. It is, so the first row of this decrease, you slip 1 and then you knit 16, and then you do your decrease and then you turn and go back the other way. I always forget to do the slip 1. So technically you have 17, like, you know, you slip 1, so technically you have like 17 stitches worked, not 16, before you do your turn. I always forget to do that decrease, and I just knit 16. I did the same thing the last time, and I forgot, and I knew it was probably the same mistake, and I couldn't remember how I fixed it the last time, but I finally figured it out. So hopefully now, me saying it out loud to you guys, I will remember the next time, and I will not make that mistake again, because I've done it at least, this is probably the 3rd time I've made the same mistake on a sock. Probably more. But anyway, we got through that. Once I figured that out, this little heel flap, this little turn, takes like 15 minutes. So now we're gonna pick up stitches along both of these edges here, and then we're gonna decrease back down to our original width, which is 64 stitches, 32 on each side. Yes. Okay, So that's what we're gonna do. This will probably be done within the week because I think this is, I don't have anything else that I like keep downstairs and it's mindless. Once I get the decreases all the way down, it's mindless knitting until the very end here. So this I can get done probably tomorrow, and then it's just mindless knitting. It is very busy at work right now though, so I don't know how much time I'll have as mindless as it is. Okay, second thing that you've seen already is my t-shirt. This is the front here. This is my Tidepool Tee. It is a, you can't see that. It is a hobby pattern. This is where I'm at. Let me pull it here a little bit. Oh no. My stitch minder fell off. Okay. So this is about where I'm at. So we are a good ways in. As you can see, probably, this is the number of increases I've done. So I've done 4, I'm coming up, I'm a few rows short of my 5th increase. And I think there's 6 increases overall to make like a little A-line of it all. And then after that, it's just straight, even knitting. Of course, we're still doing the cable stitch along the side of it. This is where it was the last time. So this is the amount of progress I've made. Probably a good 2 or so inches. A little more maybe. Here, let's see. Yep, almost exactly 2 inches of progress in the last like week. And I stopped right now. I'm like halfway through a cable pattern. So this is the cable. We've had a couple of mishaps in the cabling lately. I'm so bad at it. But here's the cable. Whenever the last time was that I was working on it, I must have like, on this is like the first cable. Okay. So this is where the round starts. Stop, girl. Girl, hold the thing up correctly. All right, so this is the first cable I do, and then this is the second one I do, like in each round. And for some reason, for like this, no, sorry, this is the first one. And this one's the second one. Okay, so this is where the round starts. So the mishap on this side is like this little hole here. And I remember like I had to like tink back, and I think in tinking back, I dropped something or I did something. I'm not sure what, but I didn't notice this little hole until like a couple rounds here. You can see it. It's this here. I didn't notice this. There's no way to see it. Let me put something behind here. Find something to put behind it. Will this work? I think so. Okay. There you go. You can see it better now. So right here, I didn't notice this little guy right here until a couple rounds after. I'm not sure what I did, but I think I can go in afterwards later on, and I can like kind of use a piece of scrap yarn and just cinch it together a little bit and close that up. So it's not a big deal. It's along the side, it's along the underarm. And then on this side, I made a mistake over here. It's hard to see. Just when you can kind of see. You can see where like right here, the cabling just goes off. And it's because somehow the last time I was working on this, I stopped doing the pattern on this side of the cables. I just kept the same, like the middle of the pattern, you do like the same round, the same pattern 3 times, the same stitches 3 times. So like rows 4, 5, 6 are the same, and then 7 is the cable, and then 8 is like a different row. So I just kept it going somehow. I have no idea how I did that, because I did it right on this side, but on this side I wasn't. I have no idea how or why, but so now it goes off a little bit. So, you know, whatever. No one's gonna notice that. So yeah, that's where that is. I am very excited. I'm thinking about, because I'm gonna have a lot of this blue left over. There's only, I want to say 6 stripes of the blue like in the pattern, so maybe I'll either keep that going a little further. And I think I might also, in the pattern itself, it doesn't incorporate the striping into the sleeve. but maybe I'll do some striping in the sleeves. I'm gonna have a ton. I have this much left. I have a ton of this left over. So I'm thinking of what I can do with it. Okay, on to the new stuff. Oh my God, these are so exciting. I don't know which one I want to show you first. I think I'm gonna show you this one first. Okay, I've been telling you forever that I want to do the Flax sweater by Tin Can Knits, and I finally started it. I'm so excited. As I told you, I wanted to, oh, here, let me take this. My cable needle, you need to go over here. Should not even brought you downstairs. I've been wanting to use the Skinny Cake, which is in the color, Melon Smoothie. This color is discontinued, but Skinny Cakes are still alive and well out there. But this is from like 3 seasons ago, probably. And for a second, I was panicking because if you look, like this one looks like it has a lot more, especially on this side. Which side was I looking at? I think this side. This one looks like it has like a lot more of the brown. And for a second, I was like, are these not the same color? Because I didn't have them next to each other. This one was downstairs. This one was upstairs in my room. And I was just looking at it and I was like, I don't remember it being that brown. So I ran upstairs and I checked and I was like, okay, no, I think it's the same. It's just like the browns are kind of buried in here. It's just the way it's like, wow, it's just the way it was wound. But I was panicking for a second. But anyway, here's where we are, okay? Okay, Skinny Cakes are from Karen. They are available at Michael's. We're not gonna go over specs. It's a 3-way. It's very similar to your mandala, and some such yarns like that. It's acrylic, probably about 1,000 yards of about 300 yards, I think, a little over 300 yards of an acrylic 3-weight. So here it is. Anyway, so it just starts off with your regular 1x1 web. This is the top. It is going to be a raglan style, so you have your raglan increases here, and along the shoulder and all the way down the arm, there's this panel of just garter stitch. So garter stitch, remember I remember talking about it last time. This is what happens when you just knit every row, but when you do it in the round, you have to knit purl. Whereas like when you do it flat, you knit every row. It's almost backwards. And when you do, it is exactly backwards actually. When you knit flat and you're not knitting in circles, to get this smoothness here, you knit one side and purl the other. And to get just the bumps, the garter stitch. So this is stockinette, this is garter. To get garter stitch, when you're knitting flat, you just knit every round. When you knit in a round on circular needles like this and you go around and round, it's exactly the opposite. So to get garter, you have to knit one round, purl the next. To get stockinette, you're gonna just knit every round. But anyway, so here we are working on the yoke and the garter increases. This is so pretty. I'm so glad that I picked this pattern for this yarn, because I've been like waiting for something special to do with this, because I just love it so much, and I'll never, unless I find it like on a reseller somewhere, I'll never be able to get it again. I mean, they might re-release it, but the way they're Skinny Cake colors now, I'm not a huge fan of, like the way they do them. So that's just so beautiful. It's so melony. Like this just looks like a cantaloupe honeydew situation, does it not? So we're increasing. This has been really easy and fast so far. I think I've spent like, this is maybe 3 sessions of working on it. Like first session I did the neck. Then I got started with the garter increases and I worked a few of them, probably worked up to about where the color started changing. And then then I started working here. Actually I did some this morning, so maybe 4 sessions, but it's working up really fast. And it just really feels really soft. I can't wait to wear it. I really like the detail of the increase. Obviously this is so much less, it's so much easier than this just because there's less to keep track of. The only thing I really need to keep track of is the increases at these stitch markers. There's 4 spots where you increase, and then obviously my little panel here. But once I separate the sleeves, it'll just be knit. So that's gonna be fun, but it's just gonna be beautiful. I'm so excited about this. Oh man, like I'm gonna probably work on this. I worked on it today already, so actually I'm gonna work on this next. Oh, by the way, this one, you can find it on Ravelry. You can probably find it other places too. It is a free download. It does come in like at least at least 12 different sizes from like 0 to 6 months all the way to 6X. So you do probably want to print it out and mark off, which is what I did, print it out and mark off your size that you're making, because it's like the one I'm doing is like, it's like a medium large. So you have medium and you have large, but you have medium large in the middle. And I based it on, they don't give you a good place to base it. I think they did hip. Like usually it's bust. I don't think there's a bust measurement, but there's just like a hip measurement. But I don't have much bust anyway, so it's not a huge concern to me. Like really my big concern is always like my arms and shoulders, because they're a little bit big for my size. Like not fat, but you know, just like for me, they always, for the size of clothes I wear, they always end up being a little tight, just because I've always had kind of muscular, thicker, like more defined arms and shoulders. Now they're not super defined, but they're still thicker. They're a little flabbier now. Anyway, so that's that. But that's where that pattern can be found. And it is free, like I said. And there is an app too. Tinka Knits has an app. I haven't tried it, but you can just get the app and then you put in your size and it'll give you the patterns for just your size. So you don't have to sift through all of the figuring out, like you don't have to go through and figure out, okay, which of these is for me, right? But this is one I wanted to just have printed out in front of me so I wouldn't have to keep my phone and stuff on me. Okay, and finally we have this beautiful one here. This one, remember I told you I have this. This is another one I've been waiting for a special project for. This is a, I bought this. This was a Milland from Hirschner's that I bought probably the first time I bought Millands. I think I got this one. I don't remember. Maybe the first or the second. And it's so beautiful, right? Look at this colors. And this is with the brightest yellow already out. I'm going to show you in a minute. But I bought it and I loved it. And I was afraid. I wanted to make sure I had enough to make whatever I wanted. So I had to go find it. I looked at, you know, and luckily it was easy to find. I bought it on, it's a Hobie cake. It's a Hobie Sultan Shadow Cake. No, it's a Hobie Sultan Deluxe Cake. And the color is like, I think curry, something called curry. But you know, Hobie, when you actually get on it, it doesn't tell you the colors. But if you go on the website, it does. The colors do have names. But this one is that. And I bought it. Thankfully, I didn't pay like the full price. It was on sale when I bought it. Because the reason I like to get these from Hirschner's is usually you get 2 for $14.99, whereas at Hobie they're like $20 each at least, right? Sultan Deluxe I think is the most expensive one, but I got it on sale, so I think I got it for less. I know I got it for less than $20, but I went and got another one. I was holding off on doing that, putting it off. I actually had to buy it twice because I didn't buy it twice, but I bought one that I thought was this one. I didn't go and look though, but I was like just scrolling. This was months and months ago, and I bought one. It was the wrong one. It was like one of their regular Hobby King Cakes, I want to say, and the yellow was way off. It was more of a khaki, but like on the computer, like trying to remember, it looked the same. But then I actually brought, like, I had it next to me the next time I was looking, and I found it and I bought it. This is what I decided. I've spent a lot of time, not a lot, but I spent a good amount of time going through all the Ravelry projects for this, because I felt like I wanted to do a wearable. I didn't want to do a shawl, or like a shawl was my backup, but something that would just have this beautiful, all these beautiful colors like just blazoned across me is like my vision. And I found this project, which is called the SpiderDream Tunic, and it's like a really kind of asymmetrical kind of tunic thing that you start. This is the sleeve, so you start here on one sleeve and you kind of work it across and down. I'm gonna try to put it on, if I remember. So you work to here, and this is the neckline. And then you increase until the pattern doesn't give you like good like exact measurements, but it's like increase until it's like halfway between, like across your breast, which is like about where I am now, right? And so it does this, and now this next part, this is the first part. It's just like this sleeve part here, and then up to here, and then the second part is like these increases, and the third part is where it's like clusters, like kind of a, what is that thing? Like German shell maybe, or what are they? What are the other clusters? virus, maybe I can't remember because I can't picture it off the top of my head, but it's like, you know, that kind of thing, virus stitch kind of clusters. It's gonna like come across. This is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but it's cheap. I want to say US, like euros, it was like 3, maybe 4 or something. I think I paid like $3.60 or something right around there for it, and euros it was probably a little bit more than that or less. I forget how euros are to us. But anyway, I've been working on this. Also, I started it earlier this week. I will say this is definitely kind of a bit of an intermediate pattern because she doesn't give really exact measurements. Unless you're doing her size, you don't have like exact stitch counts for a lot of stuff. So like I think here, like for this lid, she's just like chain enough to go around your arm. And she's like, well, I'm doing this size. I forget what size she's doing. It's not my size. Let's say she's doing medium, right? So she's like, I did, you know, this many, but you chain as many as you need to go around, and then you, you know, in multiples of whatever. And then same thing for like, so your increases are done not by increasing the number of stitches, but like you have these little clusters of chain 3s. The increases are done by increasing the number of chains in between them. That's how it's growing. And so like for this part here, right, she just kind of she goes through it, and then she's just, okay, repeat this, you know, like I said, until it gets to your size. But then she's like, you can try doing 4 chains instead of 3, or you can try doing 4 or 5, you know. And then here you kind of have to, like, before you start the shells, right, you have to do this just setup row of just double crochets, right? And it has to be divisible by 12. And she's just like, oh, if you increased your chain count, then you have to make sure you increase your make sure you also increase your number of double crochets. But she doesn't say like, okay, well, if you did 4, you know, if you did 4 chains, then do this many. If you did 5 chains, and then you just, so you just kind of have to guess. So hopefully I added, because my last row here, I think I did 5 chains. And so I added, if you just did it the way, like her size, you would just do 3. I think you would just do 3 double crochets in here. I did, let me see, 1, 2, 3. I think I did 5. Yeah, I did, because I did 3 extra chains. I added 3 extra stitches. So, no, I did 2 extra chains. And I added 2 extra stitches. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, and then you have to kind of have to do the math to make sure it still ended up divisible by 12. I actually ended up doing the math wrong originally, and I didn't realize I didn't pick it out till I was like almost at the end here, or here. And so I kind of had to add some extra stitches on these last few clusters. So that's why you can see them a little bit waving. I think it'll even out once I start doing the shells and stuff. So I'm not too worried about it. Plus, I think it'll be fine, but I wish I had done the math correctly, and like then I could have increased a little more evenly across it, but that's fine. That's not a big problem. But anyway, yeah, it's so beautiful. I'm just so excited. Like, look at this color. I've already gone through, so you know that how these cakes work, where you start with one color in the middle, and then it slowly begins to fade by like, this is like 4, as you see, these are like 4 or 8, how many ever, I guess 4 strands. No, this is like 8 strands. But as it'll like replace, like right around here, it started replacing like 1 strand or 1 or 2 strands, and then like out here it replaced 2 more strands, you know. And so I've gone through 2 transitions already, so it's gonna keep going, darken out to like this copper, and then this very dark gray. It's gonna be really beautiful. So by the time it gets like, you know, if I start here, right here, by the time it gets down here, it's gonna be like pretty much this color. So just, it's gonna all come across like that. So I think it's gonna be just a really great effect, and that's what I wanted for this project, like something like that, just like a radiation of like this color out, not just like a bland, not bland, but not just like your regular triangle shawl, or even, yeah, like I wanted something that's just gonna be like almost like splashed across me. So that's what we're gonna get, hopefully. So yeah, I'm excited. This is what I'm gonna work on now, because I worked on this just before I started. And I worked on this one this morning, and so I'll work on this later. And I worked on my sock last night. So yeah, I'm excited. Hope you guys are having a great 4th right now. We went to what is this thing called? Fireworks show. Our church kind of had a little celebration. They had a fireworks show. They had a baptism too. My oldest stepson got baptized, so that's really special. But they did all that like last Sunday, which is really early, but I think the family at the church that does pyrotechnics, I think they have a company. Like, I'm assuming they're busy this weekend, so I guess they did theirs early. So yeah, so I love fireworks, but I've got them out of my system. And I'm not a huge fan of like neighborhood fireworks because it's just too close. Like, I love a good fireworks show with like good music and stuff, like all kind of choreographed, but just like random shooting off of stuff. If you're like across the neighborhood, I don't mind it. Like, actually, I like it. That's like a free fireworks show. If you're 2 doors down from me, or like my neighbors that do it on the cul-de-sac, like, I hate it. It's just too close. It's just random, you know. And you know, it's like luckily my dogs don't care about fireworks at all. Neither of them. My cat, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen him get too worked up about them. He's pretty laid back. But it's just like, ugh, and then they want to go late and all that. I'm just like very like, how's my old grumpy old lady, but I'm also like, you guys have fun, you know. It's just me, and I hate it because then all the debris is on the street, like all the little cardboard casings and stuff. One of my dogs will try to eat them every time, and it's like the last time my next door neighbor shot out fireworks, which I think was like, it might have been even back like Labor Day or something last year. It was not 4th of July, but it was more recently than that. Like, the casings were on the cul-de-sac for months. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but this time, if they had done it this time, I would have got my blower out and I would have just blown it like off the street. So that, because every time, like, we're trying to just get across the cul-de-sac and my dog is trying to eat he's trying to eat them all, you know. He's gonna make them, this is the one that got sick. So like, he's already got health problems and all kind of medication. So the last thing I need is for him to ingest whatever, gunpowder. And so there's that. And my next door neighbors last year, I think it was last year, or it might have been the last time they did fireworks. All I know is like the next time they took their trash out, their trash can was like half melted. So whatever they shot up came down right on their trash can, their big bin, and it's still melted. They never got anyone. So they always like got their little half melted bin out. So I'm like, maybe they learned their lesson and they won't do them, but they're not home anyway. So wherever they are, they're probably shooting off fireworks. And it's like, I don't begrudge anyone any fun, and I'm never going to be the ones who like complain about it. You know, not the current neighborhood I live in, but the old neighborhood I lived in before it's gotten really gentrified and bougie, you know, and since I grew up there. And I'm still on the Facebook group for that neighborhood, and like they're constantly complaining about fireworks because like I said, it's like a kind of gentrified bougie neighborhood, but surrounding it is like a lot of apartments, and there's a lot of Hispanic people that live there, and they shoot off fireworks for everything. New Year's, Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July, everything. And so they're always complaining, and I'm like, you guys, these families have been here longer than you have. Like, you moved into their neighborhood and now you're complaining. You know what I mean? Because I grew up there since I'm 44. I lived there since I was 9, you know? They've always been there. Like, you guys are the new people, and now you just like do that, and then you're out there always like calling the cops on people. They're always complaining like, my dog's this, and I get it. Like, it is frustrating, like when your dogs are freaked out or your kids are trying to sleep or whatever, but like, let people live, you know? Like, just their lives don't revolve around you. And there are like, it is annoying because there are ordinances like, you know, on a regular smegular Tuesday night, I don't know if you're even allowed. I think you are allowed to shoot them off, but like, you have to finish by a certain time, like relatively early. But then on holidays, like 4th of July, New Year's and stuff, you can go until like midnight or 1 o'clock. So if you go past that, you're a jerk. I get it. But they're still, like, they complain so much. It's entertaining because I don't live there, you know, and I'll never be the one to complain about my neighbors just living their lives and having fun, but it's definitely not for me. But I do love a good, like, regular, like, you know, fireworks show put on by somebody, especially like professionals, you know, with some choreography and music and a big finale. Blah, 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 blah. Love it. Absolutely love it. But I already had one last Sunday, so I don't need another one. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying yours. I will see you. Maybe I'll get this up tonight. It's a holiday. I ain't got nothing to do. Maybe I'll get this up tonight. We'll see. It depends on how long it takes for it to sync from my phone to the cloud. Do I need it to sync? I could probably just, it takes forever to do it from my phone. Sync from my phone to the cloud, and then maybe I'll do it from my phone. And then I don't have a whole lot of editing to do. Though I did want to put in pictures of like these for you guys as reference, so you can see what I'm trying to do. So yeah, if it syncs quickly, then I'll have it up tonight. But if not, it'll be up tomorrow, which is the 5th. Y'all won't know the difference. Anyway, I thank everyone for listening to my ramblings. We don't know where that sentence was going, but I do appreciate everyone that listens to me. And I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate all the advice I get and the encouragement, and everyone that just hangs out and spends time with me and listens to me talk about yarn stuff, because no one in my life wants, and I don't really want to talk to them about yarn stuff, but I want to talk to you guys about yarn stuff, and I will. So I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm going to go upstairs and work on my projects, and hopefully in a week or two, I'll have some cool stuff to show you. All right, bye.